to your video and see the comments. Alright.
Hey, welcome guys. This is Fort Misery Gaming here today to bring you a discussion on Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle and the state of the game. And I'm joined today by Jurassic Impact.
Hey everyone.
And sorry, just closing my door first. And if you guys follow my channel, you guys probably have seen that I've not done Dokkan Battle content in 3 weeks. And it's because Global is going through its situation it went through with JP, where they basically it was pretty dry. There wasn't much going on from what Zenrot said on the modcast for about a month, 6 weeks or so, something like that. So I guess we're going to be talking about that, about JP, about the state of the game. Obviously, Jurassic and I play a lot of Global games, and we've been able to see the pros and cons of games like Naruto, Dokkan Battle, Yu-Gi-Oh! I know you play Pokemon Duel. I play Puzzles and Dragons. So, but first we're going to talk about, I guess, the state of the game for Global. So, I guess Jurassic. Me and you talked off air a little bit about how some of the YouTubers are talking about, and we kind of want to give our 2 cents about what they have said over the last 2 weeks.
All right. Well, what I think, because Global's going through a down period, and I think the down period definitely shouldn't have been as long as it was, but the fact that a lot of people are just kind of giving up on Global and just saying it's dead, I mean, it's not really dead, because if you think about it, there's still stuff to do, especially if you're still farming for LR Goku. You're going to need to, build up your Super Strike characters. This is a perfect opportunity to do that, because you have that downtime, so you don't really have to worry about being, involved in anything else. You can just go in, focus on your Super Strike, start farming them up, leveling them up, get them ready for the next weekend when you can take on LR Goku again. There's also, let's see, they had the banner that just ended. It's not there today. I think it just ended either earlier today or yesterday, and that was I think it was the Double Raids banner. It didn't have anything.
Oh, yeah, the Rising Carnival. That was probably the worst Rising Carnival banner that they've ever done. And, I mean, we knew we had to have it, but, all those units are so mediocre that there's no... I actually had a couple people message me, should I pull on this banner? And I told all of them no, especially if you really want to pull before Rose, pull on the black banner that should be coming out next week.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
And it's JP went through the same thing. And people was oh no, JP had this and that. And I was well, from recent memory, the only thing I can remember that actually went on before the Dupe System and Goku Black and all that came out was we had a Fusion banner. We didn't really have much in terms of events. We literally just had a Fusion banner, and that Fusion banner, all but the one AGL unit, Baby Janemba, nobody uses any of them. So it's not even in Japan, no one uses any of those. I think Baby Janemba was really the only one that was even used from that banner more than a couple weeks. So it's not we're missing out on anything there, except for, unless you're a collector.
Right.
But beyond that, we're not really missing out anything with that.
But that's for Heroes. So Heroes, from what I understand, has a huge licensing issue with anything. And it was even even hard for JP to get it, from my understanding. So I have a feeling the Heroes cards, I have a feeling we'll never get. The one thing I do want to mention, but as far as the Ariel stuff, that is actually kind of relevant, because those cards are kind of niche in certain events, like World Tournament and stuff like that. And Arali is one of the best Rainbow leaders. So the speculation that we're never going to get the Arali event is kind of shitty, because I don't see the big licensing issue with that, in my opinion.
Well, what I think is going to happen with the Arali event, which is kind of contradicting to what's happening right now, JP released the Arali event really right after the Arali, at the small 2 episodes that were Arali was actually in on the little filler episodes of Dragon Ball Super. And then it was followed by the Yamcha baseball event, which happened right after the Yamcha baseball episode. So JP kind of had kind of an advantage in that regard, because since JP gets the anime first, of course,
right,
they're gonna get that new content first as well. But Global, they already gave us the Yamcha baseball event before that episode's even aired over here on the English dub on Toonami, which I thought was kind of surprising. So because of that, I could have argued first, well, maybe they'll give us the Arali event when the Arali episode actually airs on the dub. But then I'd be contradicting because they've already released the baseball Yamcha.
Well,
So
no, that doesn't matter anyway because we got Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken Goku like so much earlier than when he got released and dubbed. So I don't think they're following the dub. Like there has to be. I would assume there's got to be some kind of licensing thing because like right now that would have been like the perfect time. Throw Raleigh in there. Like there's nothing to do in Global for 4 weeks. Omega Shenron really was only a week-long event. It wasn't like, that's like a thing where it was like a big deal. So that's where I think that would have been the perfect time to Raleigh. So that's why I get the feeling that like I have a feeling she's just not going to come to Global, at least not for a long ass time. Which at that point she'll probably be outdated at that point if they do bring her back. So
which is unfortunate because there's 2 good Aralis that came from that crop of Aralis. One of them was one of the better AoE units, and of course the demigod, rainbow god leader, whatever you want to call her, the physical Arali. So it's like that kind of sucks because those are still 2 pretty good viable units right now in the game, even on JP. That we may never get, or if we do, it'll be way down the road.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what I will say, which is what Current Jokes just brought up, we were supposed to have a world tournament during this whole down period, which never happened. And like you said, we have not really got any word on that. But I don't know when you're going to talk about this. Maybe we could talk about it at the end of the video. But there is a big maintenance coming tonight that a lot of people have speculation for. So
yeah, that's well, that was kind of we're gonna lead into the next. So I guess our point is like people who are play Global. And I know a lot of people, even in my own little group that we have our chat that we talk about on Facebook. But, guys, it's coming. Obviously, guys, the ticket banner comes April 2nd. That's, like, the big thing. That's going to be, once that hits, that's when a huge amount of content's going to be coming on. So, like, don't be discouraged about Global. I guess to wrap up kind of this segment of our conversation is that really, like, things are happening. JP went through the same thing. And I wish the other YouTubers just wouldn't say that, omit that information for the Global players and like people hop on JP, JP's my main now. JP's my main now. Like that's your guys' choice, but don't like hurt the Global community just because that's your prerogative. You know what I'm saying?
And the global game already looks like it's going to get a little bit of I won't really say the middle finger to JP because they're both owned by the same company, but somewhat of, I guess, a middle finger to the people who badmouth Global. And that's because, it hasn't been 100% confirmed, but I would say that it's probably a good safe bet. It's 95 to 99% confirmed. Goku Black is going to be a better unit on Global than he is on JP, which leads a lot of people to believe could they do the same for the past for Super Saiyan Blue Vegito. So, we never know. I mean, Global could even debuff some cards or make... Mm-hmm. Or just keep buffing them back up. I mean, we don't know, but from what we can tell for Goku Black... we can at least tell physical teams are going to be better early on in Global than they were in JP because Goku Black is going to be a better unit. So, I mean, there's that to look forward to if you're a Global player. I mean, that's a reason to get you to come over. I mean, that's great in itself.
Right, and Goku Black is like kind of crazy good. He's kind of like he's not quite as good as Rose because his passive still relies on a hard number of nuking as opposed to a flat percentage, but he basically makes I imagine the people who have Cooler and in JP right now, and they looked at Global and be like, wait, so Black is going to be like a second Genyu for the Cooler teams? And basically what we're referring to is that he, from the spoil in the database, it's supposed to be giving 3 key to all extreme types, just like Rose Black does, which is crazy. But it leads us to think, are they going to depower Rose because maybe they feel AGL is too good or Rose is too good, so maybe they'll only give Rose the flat 100 pump and they won't give him the key. So that's another interesting topic that we'll have to see what happens over the next month or so. But as far as like for the big announcements on the news, like if you guys didn't see in the app, for guys that aren't logging in all the time, but they basically they're going to be giving a 12-hour maintenance, which is crazy long. So the last time Global had a 12-hour maintenance was when we had the 1-year anniversary when Super Vegito came out a couple months ago, and it actually got delayed multiple times. and because the update was so insanely massive of all the stuff going on. So there's two things that make me think, like, now people said on Facebook that Bandai's official page, they said this is just maintenance to improve the game and to improve the servers and blah blah blah. It's like that doesn't take 12 hours. So
No.
something major is happening. I cannot see just the Brawly event coming out and that's it. Like, that wouldn't make any sense. So I think it's going to be the ability system, at minimum. I think that's going to come out for sure. And if not, then if the ability system doesn't come out, I think they're going to spoil the entire event list for the 150 million download celebration for the ticket banner. Like, all the different things, like whether we get half stamina for Dokkan events, the login campaign, exactly the amount of stones, upcoming events, pertaining to Rose and stuff like that. Maybe new stuff for a world tournament, but I definitely think the ability system is like kind of a given that we should be getting that when we wake up tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely think that the ability system is definitely coming because if you guys actually go back, if you're actually some of those people who like are really nerdy on the game and like really like to track down the back end stuff, like the coding, break it down and stuff like that. You'll know that most maintenances are usually only about roughly 2 to 3 hours for a normal maintenance. Just, if they need to take down the game servers for a little bit, just do a couple updates. Even when they do Dokkan festivals, we don't even really get maintenance that's usually beyond 4 or 5 hours. For Dokkan Festival, that's when they're releasing like new god leads, new demigods, and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Even on JP. The fact that this game is going to be down for up to half a day, if not longer, they're implementing a new feature to the game. Because that's what takes a long time. And the only new feature that comes to mind is the dupe system. So it has to be, I don't know, what they could do, they could implement it and then not activate it until maybe the...
Yeah, because remember they did similar like that with the Baba Shop when that came out to Global. They they said, oh, this is the details of the Baba Shop, but you can't use it until X date, which would make kind of sense because it didn't, like, JP, it came out like 2 weeks after Rose did. So, but we've said multiple times that is a in-game mechanic. It doesn't have relating to do with the timeline of events. So they could always drop they could have dropped the ability system when Gogeta came out, technically, if they really wanted to.
Yeah, because JP is the testing ground.
Right.
Global is the final product. So Global... Actually, if you really think about it, Global actually has a good advantage in the longevity of the game because they can test all these things out on JP and then maybe finalize them for Global. And that's maybe why you're seeing a good Goku Black, because maybe they realize, you know what, that's not how good we really wanted Goku Black to be, we wanted him to be. And, well, maybe that's why it happened the way it happened. And hopefully maybe the dupe system will even be a little different. We don't know. Global has definitely surprised us a few different times here in the last few months with some of the things that they've done. Like, nobody, even though JP had it too, but nobody expected that Christmas banner. That was crazy. It just came out of nowhere. Like, oh, look how epic this banner is. And still to this day, I think that was probably the best banner I've ever seen.
Yeah, JP got their New Year's Eve banner, which was like a pretty much equivalent, which kind of tied it together, so it kind of evened out the two games. But yeah, the Christmas banner, I think, was like Bandai's way of saying, like, guys, we wanted to troll you with Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken, so we're going to give you Super Vegito here instead of on the Kaioken banner, which still kind of made some people mad, but, at least they tried to make up for it. At least they gave good deals, and it was GSSR, and it was the first time there was ever a GSSR on a God unit, or on a Dokkan unit at all, to be honest. So, so yeah, that's what's going on with Global. That's what we are looking forward to. And then obviously for sure is April 2nd is the ticket banner, which is going to start all the craziness when we get into the other God tier units.
Another little thing on Global that I also think gives me a better look into why I think the dupe system is coming is because Japan's getting ready to have that 777 event on the 17th. Well, it's 18th in Japan, but it'll be 17th for us over here. Global has to do something to match that. Not, you know what I mean? So it's like more reason to bring the dupe system right now. Because the 26th is where everyone's speculating Goku Black's coming. The 26th, when the Yamcha event ends. But Global has done things crazy before. They could just say, hey, Goku Black's here tomorrow, and here's the dupe system. You never know.
Well, so but yeah, I think that's the only thing we have to talk about global as far as, we just really wanted to hit home, to not really desert the game. That stuff's happening, and the same thing happened in JP. And I do want to commend the modcast, Zenra and Toast and everyone else, Wookie, that they really, they did put it in perspective when they mentioned that on their podcast a couple weeks ago. But I guess we'll get into JP, and I started playing JP and then I lost my account, so my account's still in limbo. I'm waiting to get it back. And I know Jurassic, you haven't really been on JP since Battlefield kind of came out. So what to talk about that's fresh is obviously Cooler. So Cooler is the third of the Neo Gods, which are the 120% stat increase in 3 key to their typing. It has to be a monotype, and it has to also be the hero or villain associated with it. So like Super Saiyan 4, Goku and Vegeta give AGL and STR and heroes, and then Cooler is extreme for physicals. So I guess first we can talk about that, and where he kind of fits in, and I guess our overall thoughts over the Neo God leaders. So I guess Jurassic, what do you want to say first?
Well, I definitely think I was not expecting Cooler to be a Neo God leader. When we saw the trend, it looked like they were going. It looked like they were going mono God leaders. We had that, and then we had the what you could call the mini God leaders, the demigods, I guess is what you could call them. It started to look like, okay, so now they got the gods, they got the support units for those gods, and then you got the cards after that to support everything else. So it's like you have like a little hierarchy that they're building up here in the game. But then they changed the game with the hero and villain type aspect. So now you had Super Saiyan Blue Vegito being a super god leader for, super mono teams, and then you had the same with Rose with villains. So then you're like, okay, so now we have mono teams, and now we have mono super and villain teams. But then they weren't done with that. They had to go and change the game up again and make Neo God leaders. So now you have a god leader of a mono team for both a villain and a hero. Of course, if you associate it with the card's main attack, the main type, and like if it's a super villain, you're going to get more buff than the other. But it's the fact that they can be potential god leaders for both, which is kind of why, it's kind of like a new thing to the meta right now. But I had no idea that Cooler was going to be one of the very few, or one of the many characters they could have selected to be nominated for such a high-level top-tier unit. Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Vegeta player cards, they're popular in the anime, popular in the Dragon Ball universe in general. So of course, they're bound to be some kind of higher echelon in the game. But Cooler, I was not expecting that. I was like, okay, weird. I was thinking maybe they could use some of the other Dragon Ball hero characters that haven't been introduced yet, which, we're going to be getting to that later.
Yeah.
But I was just like, I can't believe that. But, yeah. Well, Cooler definitely became the physical tank. Like, physical teams finally have a tank.
Yeah, for sure. And especially, I actually really love Cooler. Well, for one, he's like one of my favorite villains in Dragon Ball, especially in the movies. I love him way more than Broly, or even Turles. But he brought back a lot of cards that people didn't want to play, like Sin Shenron, like Goku Black, and then also Full Power Frieza is like the big one. That's like his best friend Link, and that just by introducing his leader ability, that brings a whole new archetype into the meta. So I'm actually really happy about that.
It made the worthless god leader finally good again, Broly.
Right, as a subunit.
Yep, it finally made him good again.
But I'm more like psyched for Full Power Frieza being really, really good, because he's a guy that like no one played him because he just didn't fit on a team, even though he was still always good. Like he still has, of how early he came out. Like he came out in global before Gogeta did, so he has a passive that still holds true to time. To like, I mean, he has Gotenks' passive. So the fact that he has the same passive for a mono god lead card, that tells you that he definitely is good. But then also in JP, the other big thing that happened was LR Gohan is probably the most controversial thing JP has done.
Yeah, he's literally just a walking god in the game.
So
He's a god.
he's referred to as the best card in the game. But the reason why he's controversial is because he is very hard to pull.
Yep, hardest card in the game to pull.
So I think the average is you have to spend 3,600 and something stones to get him. I think only 2 YouTubers out to
No,
mine.
I think it was $3,000 some dollars.
We're right. We're right. $3,000 some dollars because a stone is worth $1 pretty much. So that's why I said it was like 3,600, 3,500, something like that in stones. So that equates to about $3,600 to get him. So
yeah.
So he's not in the banner. He can only be pulled apparently on the double rate banners, but he is treated as a off banner card. So his rate is like, what is it, like something like 0.09%, something like that?
Yeah, it's less than 1%. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's less than 1/10%. So
ridiculous. And even when you pull them, your journey's not over that. Your journey's still not over, because then you got to go through the nice obstacle course to Dokkan Awaken him.
Oh yeah, like a battlefield funness.
Yeah. Yes.
I don't know how some people had all the gems to get him already, but hey.
I've seen people. I don't know. I mean, it's something probably to do with private servers or something. But I've seen people that are like showing how he's fully Dokkan Awakened. He's maxed essay, and he's been through the dupe system. I'm like, no.
Oh, that's definitely hackers at that point.
No way, no way.
Because just to go through the dupe system, you're saying you pulled 5 of them, so you're saying that you literally spent like $10,000 to on a mobile game.
Like, if Living Ichigo and D3 do not have him through the dupe system, I don't know anybody would.
They don't even have him at all. They don't have a single copy. They don't have a single copy.
That's the crazy thing.
Yeah.
That's the crazy thing.
Yeah, they don't even have a single copy. So I don't think there's any way that's happening. But yeah, that's what's going on, JP. Obviously, JP gets a big news thing. Obviously, we recorded this hindsight a couple days from now, but we really wanted to record this before 777 and then before our big maintenance, just to see what Global's doing, just to give everyone's perspective. But now I want to kind of transit into gacha games in general and where Dokkan's at and how it compares to most of everything else in the market and stuff before it. So
are we going to talk about the supposed character that's coming out for the 777 event?
You mean Bardock?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's not much we can say. We don't know what he does or anything yet. I mean, unless Reddit has found him yet. I can check real fast if you want to bring into Bardock real fast.
Oh, alright. So, apparently, the 777 event has dropped a little bit of a scan. When you go looking at the event news, you'll see a little scan of Time Breaker Bardock. And if some of you are not familiar with Dragon Ball Heroes and Time Breaker Bardock, this man two-shotted Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. Yep. I'm not even kidding you. He two-shotted Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. Time Breaker Bardock in Dragon Ball Heroes is just OP. Now, what are they going to do with him in the game? I don't know, but what I'm speculating is he's going to be an extreme type, of course, because he was a villain in the series, so he's going to be a villain in, of course, the game. What he could be is a tech type, and why I say he could be a tech type is because, well, Tech is the only team that is still lacking a Neo God Leader, or a new God Leader for that matter. And it would only make sense because not only does Tech not have one, right now Super is outnumbering the new villain type God Leaders 3-1. We got the new LR Gohan, both the Super Saiyan 4s, and then we got physical Cooler. So right now that's 3 super types to 1 new villain type. So it's bound to be a new villain type, has to be one of the newer gods to kind of even it out a little bit, to make it kind of 3-2, so it's not so unbalanced. Mm-hmm. So because of that, I think Timebreaker Bardock is going to be a tech type, and I think the new Super Saiyan 3 Goku is going to be a new demigod. For what team, I have no idea. But I think he's going to be a new demigod.
So you don't think he'll be say Bardock, just hypothetically, as the tech Neo God, mm-hmm. You don't think the Super Saiyan 3 Goku would be a Neo God? You think he would be a demigod, a new branch of demigod?
Yeah, I think he's gonna. I think he's gonna be. He's gonna be one of a newer hybrid of demigods. He's gonna bring a
Okay.
new
Could be
mechanic.
like
I think.
similar to like the Vegeta, where he was kind of his own. Oh no, Vegeta. It'd be similar like Trunks and Zamasu at that point. Then I guess. Okay. Okay.
Because I don't think they're gonna release two new Neo Gods because then that would replace one of the new ones they just released. So,
Right.
and now what Super Saiyan Goku could be, what typing that he could be anything. I mean, he could honestly be anything. I don't think they're gonna make him AGL Kern because AGL is pretty stacked right now.
Yeah, I think he would. I think they should make him probably.
They should both be tech.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
They should both just be tech. They've done it before. They did it with Trunks and Vegeta. They were both INT types. When
Yeah,
them.
that's true. I would feel he would be more leaning toward STR though if I had to say anything. Just so that he could then link up with like GT Super Saiyan 3 Goku. But time will tell on that. We'll find out in like 2 days to see what those cards are. But they are confirmed to both be Dokkan Fest, so they are going to be Dokkan units in some form. No confirmation that they're going to be God units, but I would assume they have to be somewhat relevant. Otherwise, they wouldn't be in this big celebration. You know what I mean?
Now they could really screw us around and we not even get a Timebreaker unit, just an event. They've done that before as well, where they've released an event with a character that wasn't a unit yet.
Yeah, it was Goku Black. He had his event before his card actually came out, which Global never got either.
See, now the problem I have with Timebreaker Bardock, if he does get released as a unit, I think it's too soon. Because much like Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, that is a money ticket. That is a meal ticket. That is a golden ticket right there. Because
and it is interesting that we had, because you know how their trend's been with Super, where they're like, they'll do something with Super, and then we won't have, they'll immediately, like, instantaneously, whatever's going on in Super, they're going to put content out. Like, so they didn't do anything with the Wolves or anything with the Universal tournament yet.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of interesting that they're not going into Super at all. They're going into a lot of this off-brand stuff now with Xenoverse, and then they did Super Saiyan 4s. So
if they don't release the card that I was expecting to be released on the 777 event, they missed a big opportunity. And the card that I'm referring to is Super Android 17. Not only is he the last GT unit that they need to release to finally finish off all the main GT characters, it's Super Android 17 on 777 event. It makes perfect sense. And the fact that they may not do that is kind of troublesome. It's like they can really cash in on that because now if Super Android 17 isn't the last Neo God for the tech units, what are they going to make him? Are they going to make him another LR? Are they going to make him some new crazy crap? I don't know, because he's not really that big of a character to really do something like Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. You know, he's not that kind of popularity.
No, so he wasn't a very small arc, but yeah, it would make more sense. And people, I mean, but think of it this way: like, do you remember how long people were waiting for Super Saiyan 4s? They were expecting Super Saiyan 4s to come out like after Gogeta did. And
yeah, like during and then again at Omega, they're like, why is he out with Omega?
Yeah, exactly. That was the big thing, and people were just like, once we saw the God units, they're like, oh, they're gonna release Super Saiyan 4 Goku is gonna be STR God Leader, and it's gonna make Gogeta amazing again, and then they completely threw us a loop and they made a non-Saiyan God Leader, but all right, so we talked about JP, we got into the 777 event. Now I want to kind of break into, me and you have talked a lot off camera about gacha games, you know, whether they're pay-to-play friendly, whether they're free-to-play friendly, whether they make interesting content, not interesting content, and how you can tell the life of the game. So my experience is I played all the way back in PAD, which was, I probably played that about 6 or 7 years ago. That was my first gacha game. I never really got too deep into like meta and buying and things like that. Really, that's what Dokkan did to me. And then now we have Naruto, that's also made by Bandai. We have Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links is another big player. Pokemon Duel, I guess, is a somewhat big player. So those are the mains that we're kind of following a trend. And I guess I guess let's talk about Jurassic. Your point of view. Where do you stand on Dokkan? Whether it relates to One Piece Treasure Cruise, to Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, to Naruto, to all the other games, Pad, things like that.
Well, when I think of Gotcha, I think way back when I started playing Asian MMORPGs. We're talking some older ones, like maybe like 2006, 2007, when MMOs really started to become a big thing in Asia. Because, yeah, everybody knows MMORPG, the biggest one, World of Warcraft. Okay, that's great. But we're talking Asian MMORPGs here, and they're a little different. And why I say they're different is a lot of the things that you really need to progress through those games is stuff out of the cash shop. Now, their cash shops would be mostly gacha. You would spend money and you would pick an item, but the item that you'd get would be random. You didn't know what item you're going to get. You just spent the money. You were guaranteed something good, but it might not have been what you wanted. And that's kind of like my first experience really getting into gacha. And then I started getting into 2D side scrollers. That also started to do the same thing, like Grand Chase, if any of you guys have ever played that, or even L-Sword, which is also another big one. And then that slowly progressed into Facebook. Facebook now has become the epitome of gacha games. So many, especially anime-based or even Korean or, I should say Asian in general, any Asian-based game that you really see on Facebook, so many of them are now based around gacha, especially if you're playing like the Naruto MMORPG or the Bleach MMORPG or any of them, or even the Fairy Tail one. They're all gacha-based. And I think that now with Dokkan Battle, Bleach Brave Souls, even the new Hunter, Wild Hunt or World Hunt, I forget what it's called now. Pokemon Duel, even Pokemon Go is somewhat gacha.
Yeah,
because it's like everything has become based on chance now. So now you have to play a game where you have to rely on chance to get something good, and then you have to use whatever skill and knowledge you obtain to take whatever good thing you do finally get and use strategy to kind of progress throughout the game. So it's like, nowadays you could be a really good solid player, but still not be able to do much because you may have bad luck. And that's not a good thing. And if you don't have good luck and you don't have much money, these games are not going to be for you. Now, on the other hand, Duel Links, however, is kind of a game changer for me because it is gacha based, but they set it up in a way to where eventually you're going to get what you need.
And I absolutely love that. And that's like kind of like what I wanted to segue into as far as like, so I understand how they made the platform, because Pad is the same way as when it comes to summoning. I don't know what Pokemon Duel is like, but I don't know if it's more box-based, like you're going to get the card eventually, or if it's going to be more completely RNG, you can never get the card. But the fact that it's a combination of things with Dokkan Battle, and Dokkan Battle is like a crazy thing to where it gets very addicting, but then ultimately it's kind of like you reach your ending point for what you can do. And if you are not smart, and if you don't have guidance of what you should do, I mean, like, think of it like, what if a new player started the game and they farmed up, like, say, 90% of the game, and they spent 600 stones on the banner we have out right now, which is a physical type banner. And then, oh my god, Rose comes out in 3 weeks, and they have no stones. They have to buy stones, or they have to start the game over. So they literally wasted all that time. They'd have to make a new account, or they'd have to start spending crap ton of money. And then even at that rate, you're not guaranteed to get the cards. It's not a box system like Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, I mean, I've gone through my horror stories of where I spent 2,000 stones to get Super Vegito. You know, where I spent 1,000 stones to get Buhan. I spent 500 stones to get Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken. And it's just like, it's like a never-ending cycle where it's just like... And it wouldn't be as bad. Like, one thing I do like about Naruto is the gameplay is okay, and I don't like how they're making their events, but at least every single week in Naruto, you can get 40 stones.
And they make it team friendly. You can actually play with your friends.
Exactly. So, it's like, it's weird, because Bandai makes both these games, right? And they realize, like, okay, this is the appeal with Dragon Ball, this is the appeal with Naruto. Why don't they just make them both work? Why don't they do that? Like, I don't see the problem in Dokkan Battle if we could farm 40 stones a week. I don't.
Yeah, they would not lose money on that. They would not. They actually maybe make more money, because then people, Because if you really think about it from a psychological standpoint, if you make somebody happy and make them feel comfortable, they're willing to give more to you. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's just the psyche that we live in. If you make somebody feel comfortable, if you make somebody feel like you care about them, they're more willing to give something back to you. And in this case, it would be money to Dokkan Battle because they say, hey, I'm getting 40 stones every week. I'm able to do 2 or 3 multi summons a month. I got some good units. You know what? I got a few bucks laying around. I'm go ahead and throw some more stones in there. Do some more summons, whatever. I need some, more units to fill out my teams and stuff. They would do that. But when you're telling somebody, oh, guys, you've been playing this game 4 or 5 months, you don't got a God leader yet? Damn, bro, you need a reroll. And then the first thing they're thinking, I got to do all that shit all over again.
How many times have you restarted the game?
Oh, my God, man. So,
and exactly, but it wouldn't be as bad if it was like,
yeah.
Oh, man, I missed my shot. But I know, especially for the global players, in global, hey, I can get 40 stones a week. That means, I have 3 months until Super Saiyan 4 Goku comes out. Like, I'm just gonna sit on my stones until Super Saiyan 4 Goku comes out. Like, what if you have Gogeta and you have GT Super Saiyan 3 Goku, and then you have the chance to pull Omega and Super Saiyan 4 Goku. It's just that it makes no sense because the people who are spending money, they're still gonna spend money because they want to get literally every card when it comes out. Like, people like D-Free, Luna Ichigo, the people who have the capital to do that.
Not only that, they're going to make more content. They're going to make more content because they're going to have more stones.
Exactly.
More summoning videos, more gameplay videos.
Mm-hmm. And
more attention to Bandai.
Exactly. And Bandai profits just as much as Living Ichigo or D-Free or Rhymestyle or anybody else does because that gets more people to download their game, gets more people to potentially go into their store and buy stones. So, like, I would really love to hear Bandai on, like, some kind of conference call with some of the bigger YouTubers to ask them these kind of questions to where, why is it that you guys feel you only need to give maybe, for new content, only 100 stones every 3 months? Why can't that be? Why is it so harmful to have a player who's especially loyal and been playing your game for a long time to do 1 multi a week? Like, when he could literally pull all SRs. Still.
I mean, think about it. What they do at the ticket banner, what they're getting ready to do at the ticket banner, it makes some sense, but then it doesn't make sense again, and then it doesn't make sense afterwards. Because you think about it, when that ticket banner comes and you use up all your tickets, are you going to reward people that are spending all that money after that again with a second ticket banner way down the road? Like,
I mean, they could. You never know.
I mean, are they going to do that? Or why don't they just make a ticket banner that's just always there? It's like a special summoning ticket banner. It doesn't have to be amazing units. They just have to be good enough units that can at least make free-to-play players feel like they can still progress in the game. Because right now, if you're in Global right now and you do not have Omega, you do not have Super Vegito, you do not have Buhan or Brawly. Well, you know what? Even if you have Brawly, I don't know. But God sakes, if you don't have any of those godlies right now, and Goku Black releases, the Dupe System releases, the God Banner releases, and you still ain't pulled a God yet, you're not going to be able to do any of the new events. You're just not going to be able to do it. And if you do, it's going to be such a struggle that it's just going to make you not want to play the game, and your only hope at that point is to either shell out some cash or re-roll. And God forbid you don't want to re-roll.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially if you spent money previously on like a banner, like the Gogeta banner back a year ago or something like that. So yeah, I completely understand, and that's why like I want to kind of transition and talk about Duel Links, and Duel Links is like such an amazing game, not only because of the summoning system, but because there's variance as far as deck building. There's variance of it's an ever changing thing because you're playing a tournament style card game, and the fact is that there's so much more to farm. There's so much generous of gifts. There's more of a guarantee to get things eventually. And what we mean is basically you have a box and say there's 200 packs. You can just keep going until you eventually get that one ultra rare you want. In Dokkan terms, think of it as like, so Super Vegito is, you can get one Super Vegito in this box, and it would cost you, what is that, 50 times 200, so that's 2,000 gems. So eventually, similar to my 2,000 Dragon Stones, but you would guarantee get him eventually.
Yeah, you'd guarantee get him, plus you'd get all those other good units before him. You'd get everything. If you spent 2,000, you'd get everything in that has to offer. And then go to Dokkan Battle, you could spend $20,000-$30,000 in the game and still not even have all the god leads. And $30,000 is a lot of money for a mobile game. Now, if you took that same amount of cash and went over to Yu-Gi-Oh right now, you would have multiples of every single card in the game.
I mean, I almost have 2 of them every ultra rare in the game except for the new set, and I've only spent maybe like 100 and change. So, and I haven't been playing. I've only been playing for like a month and a half. So.
Yeah, I mean, the game is self-efficient with gems. Like, you can get gems from literally almost every single thing you do in the game. The game builds its own content because you can literally just sit there and just PvP over and over again. And it's still going to be enjoyable because no duel is going to be the same as the other. No opponent is going to be the same playing style as the past one. Now, it's like, I think we need to do a video one day. We need to do a discussion. Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links versus Dokkan Battle. Which game is better?
Yeah, and I actually would like to have like 4 people. Like, have 2 people that's pro Dokkan Battle, have 2 people that's pro Duel Links, and whoever in the middle. Like, maybe I would be like the neutral that would support both games, but I don't know. But yeah, I really wanted to touch this on the gacha games, because I mean, I feel, and it's been touched on by other YouTubers too, that it's really such a pay-to-play heavy game unless you have the coaching. Like my friend Alex, I basically have coached him through every single banner of when to use your stones, when not to use your stones, and he set up well. He has 3 god units, but you know, it was because he listened to all my advice. So that's kind of like how you have to look at it. But I mean, that's I've said as much as I want to say. So Jurassic, if there's anything else you want to throw out there before we sign off, floor is yours.
I mean, not really, but I mean, you can. I mean, don't get me wrong. You can still be very. You can still do very well in Dokkan Battle as a free-to-play player. I mean, I don't know if you guys see some of my videos, but I had some crazy summoning luck on, especially JP, and that was a free-to-play account. I mean, sometimes you just need luck.
Yeah, pretty much.
But I mean, that's the life you live in with the gacha games. But I mean, the good thing is though that the company has so many units you can pull that I mean you can still make some kind of competitive team, I guess. The good thing is there's no PvP, because I think if there was PvP right now, which I think it needs to have PvP, I think then the game would become completely unbearable for the free-to-play people who do not have nothing good. Because then if they try to go into PvP, they're just gonna get.
I think if they make PvP for Dokkan, it's gonna be more like Naruto based, where it's like you team up with people to fight the AI. I don't think they would ever do it like
co-op, yeah.
Yeah, co-op more, because I mean, like, think about it, like what if you and Global got paired up against Live and Ichigo? I mean, it's just like you can't win. There's no way. It's like
unless you're Gold, like yeah.
But all right, guys. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed listening to us. And like, we're not saying that free to play is not good in Dokkan Battle. It's just you have to be smart. So just
it could be better.
Yeah,
it could be better, really.
Yeah. So, but thank you guys so much for tuning in and streaming our discussion today. Hopefully, we get some good news for Global tomorrow, and I'm really interested to see what the JP units are going to be in a couple of days for Bardock and Super Saiyan 3 Goku. So, and thank you, Jurassic Impact, once again for joining us. It's always amazing to have you on the show, bro, all the collaboration we do together. So, thank you, bro, once again.
Thanks for having me.
Anytime. Floor is always yours. So, but anyway, guys, this is going to be it for our stream tonight, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace, guys.